By the end of this, you won't be making this mistake and your income's gonna go like this. Boom! So listen, in this video, what you're gonna learn is how not to make the mistakes that I made in sales that ultimately holded me back from having some really good commissions and, spinning me out. Listen, if you make these mistakes in this video, I know you do. I know that no matter who you are, you're making some of these mistakes in this video, and I know that can spin you out mentally sometimes. So the goal is write some of these down, implement them in your game, and if you do that, you're gonna become a better salesperson overnight. Removing some of the things that you're doing wrong are just as important as adding some of the things that you need to do better and right. Sometimes we just need to unlearn a few things. So number one, super important, you need to qualify your customers correctly. Okay, what's that mean? All right, I'm gonna give you an example, and no matter what industry you're in, you can get creative and you can think about these examples and you can use them however you want. We had a thing called the trade bridge. We use this every single time, whether it was on the phone, whether it was in person, we still use it today. If a customer came in, I gave them a really good meet and greet, a fact find, I'm talking to them, but immediately I would say, hey, what kind of car are you driving? And they would say, I'm driving a 2018 Nissan Altima. And I'd say, are you trading? Or they'd say, I'm looking for a 2018 Nissan Altima. I'm looking for a 2018 Nissan Altima. My first question would be, are you trading one into? And they're like, no, I'm trading in a 2016 Altima. I'd say, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. We've been looking for cars like that. And I could start to talk about that one little piece. If they said, no, I'm not, which they can only say, yes, I am, or no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'd say, oh, okay, what kind of car are you trading in? And they would tell me, and I could start to have conversation like that. While as most customers, most salespeople, they're just going to focus on what the customer is buying. I'm focusing on what they're trading. I'm focusing on asking questions. And if I do that, what you're gonna see is their state comes down, and then they're having good conversation. And if they're having good conversation, they're gonna divulge pieces of information that they're not telling everybody else. So it's gonna help you to sell them. It's gonna help you to serve them at a higher level. So the trade bridge, I want you to write that down and qualify them. Be curious. Every person in this world is born curious. Ask them questions. Be a freaking question machine. Don't be an answering machine. Like, hey, let me prove how smart you are. The most important thing in sales is just understanding what they're actually going through, putting yourself in their shoes. So qualifying the customer is super important. The trade bridge worked for me. If I was over the phone with somebody, I'd say, oh, you're looking at the 2020 Dodge Ram. Are you trading a Ram also? And they'd say, yeah, I'm trading in a 2017. Is that important to know? Yes, because then I can say, oh my gosh, how many miles does that car have? They're like, oh, it's got 48,000 miles. Oh my gosh, so it's almost out of warranty. That's great. Listen, where'd you buy that car? And then they tell me, and I'd say, oh my gosh, okay, great. Have you done business with them before? Or have you done business with us? And I can start asking questions, which makes the conversation super authentic and about them. If they're talking about them, they're gonna tell me things that I need to know to ultimately sell them. Most of the time, my customers would be like, I can't believe I'm telling you all this. Hey, if they ever say that to you, then you know you're winning, okay? All right, number two, don't calculate your commissions too early. I see so many people try to switch a customer onto a car that's making more money, and they're doing it out of selfish intent, and then they end up with no money. I remember we had a demo to the owner one time, and the sales managers were like, dude, that's a 15-pounder, that's a 15-pounder weight, and I had a customer that was on a very similar truck, and I tried to switch them to that car with my commission in mind. And you know what happened? I ended up losing the customer. Let things play out a certain way. I don't want to tell you not guide them to those switch cars and things like that, but serve them at the highest level. Put their intentions, put their goals at the center of the decision, and make the right choices, guys. Don't be a scum. If you're always calculating your commissions and thinking about ways you can make money versus serve them, it's a mentality. What's your intentions look like? If your intentions are always right, you always end up making more money. So don't be just trying to sell to serve yourself. Be trying to sell to serve them. It's super important. Write that down. All right, number three, you got to push the envelope, okay? Push the envelope. You got to ask tough questions. I see so many salespeople, they don't ask the tough questions. They're with a customer and they indicate that they may have challenge credit and they don't really go deeper on that. They're like, hey, yeah, I didn't have good credit the last time. Hey, tell me why you didn't have good credit. Tell me what was going on in your life at that period of time. Tell me what your credit situation was at that time. Go a little bit deeper. listen, if you're only connecting with them at surface level, then you're really never going to really truly get to know them. And if you don't ever really truly get to know them, you're never going to make a customer for life. And a lot of salespeople, they don't want to ask the tough questions. They're scared. You will have to ask those tough questions, okay? So think about it in your business right now. What are those tough questions? Next time you want to ask something and you're not sure if you should ask and it's ethical and logical, ask the question. Ask them. Say, hey guys, listen, I know that you said you had challenge credit. Can you tell me exactly why you had that? It's important for us to know. Can you tell me X, Y, Z? All right, number 4, don't bash the competition. I see so many people out there, they'll say, hey, I'm shopping the next store over, and they get deflated. They get like almost offended that they're shopping the competition. Guys, what the hell are you doing? Listen, don't get offended that they're shopping the competition. Understand that if you're in car sales, the average customer goes to 2 to 3 dealers before coming to you. It's a good thing. If you're the first place they've ever been, you're probably in a little bit more trouble. What I would say is if they're calling you, if they're on the phone with you, you have to know that it's your chance to impress them. It's your chance that you probably are competing with a dud. But if you talk about the dud and say, oh man, my competition sucks, or oh man, those guys suck, you're just like them, I'd say, oh my God, that's great that you went next door. Can you tell me some things that you liked about the way they serviced you, or some things that you didn't like, so that way I don't do the same thing? Hey, is that a good question? Yeah. Hey, can you tell me some things that you like? Shopping journey, some things that you've learned about the cars or the places you've been? But can you also tell me some things you don't like so I don't fall into the same trap, or I actually know how to help you? But don't bash the competition. It lowers the integrity of the deal. It lowers the integrity of yourself. People don't want to see that. It's not attractive. Stay away from it. Number 5, overpromising. Listen, I saw a lot of salespeople, they would overpromise things and not deliver on things, and they didn't understand what that would do to their brand. They didn't understand what that would do to their referral game. So I would urge you that whatever you're doing, don't overpromise and underdeliver. We operate at the Elliott Group as if our customers ask us to go 1 mile, we go 3. Everything we do is about over-delivering. So whatever your reputation is that's your brand. The buzzword branding really comes from reputation. If you have a reputation of excellence with your customers, always doing the right thing, always seeing things through, if you promise something, you deliver it. If you tell them you're going to take the car to their house, you take the car to their house, whether you got another customer or not. Whatever you tell them you're going to do, just deliver on it, man. So many people don't deliver on their word anymore. Deliver on your word. Make these customers for life. All right, number 6, celebrate too early. Celebrate too early. I see so many salespeople right now, they'll think they have a customer signed up, they take a deposit from a customer, the car's on order, and that's when they stop following up. They're like, I got a sale, I got a deposit on a car. Listen, man, this is when you firm up the deal. This is where you go further than everybody else. Send them a video. Here's a couple tips. Send them a video and say, hey guys, I just want to tell you guys, I really appreciated you guys putting that deposit on that vehicle today. I'm with the owner right here. He wants to tell you. Get your owner involved. Get your general manager involved. Hey, we just both wanted to tell you how much it meant to us. Firm the deal up, okay? Maybe you send them Uber Eats and say, hey man, I just wanted to buy you guys ice cream tonight for you and your family. I want to tell you guys how much we truly appreciate you guys for doing business with us. When you celebrate too early and you don't firm the deal up further, I see a lot of people have cancellations and things like that because they don't continuously to service that customer. You haven't won yet. Don't celebrate too early. Number 7, listen, disagree. Disagree with customers. Listen, if they tell you something in their best interest and they don't understand, you're like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, I got to tell you guys, I got to disagree with that. Listen, disagreeing with customers actually creates integrity in the deal. It does. Because a lot of people are going to tell you to agree with everything that they say, but if you're a yes man, they know that shit. They know it. They can tell that you are just agreeing and they can walk all over you and that's it. If I'm with the customer and they've talked about they want this, they want that, they want this, and then at the end of the deal, they're trying to sacrifice some of those things, and I know they're not going to be truly happy. I got to be like, guys, hey, I got to disagree with the way that you guys are purchasing this right now. I got to disagree with what you just said. I got to disagree with this because you told me this, because research shows this, because the evidence shows this, because the trade value is this, because this will happen, because down the line, if you want to get the most for the vehicle, you're getting this, and this, and that. You guys are only looking at it as a today deal. You need to look at it as a tomorrow deal. Listen, by disagreeing with them, logically and being able to show your expertise in the deal actually creates integrity in who you are as a salesperson. The yes man never creates a customer for life. They never stick with you. If you hear something and it's not the truth, if it's not aligning with where this customer wants to go, you letting them know that, they like that honesty, I assure you. Number 8, not leading the client. It's your job to lead the client. It's your job to lead them to making a good decision. It's your job to lead them, but most salespeople don't lead them. Here's how you lead them. When you're doing a walk around, you're just like, hey, come over here, stand up here. Let me show you around this. Let me show you what this, hey, told me you wanted the car to do this. Here, let me show you how it does this. Here, we're gonna go inside here. You're gonna come over here and sit here. I'm gonna show you this. Let me get you and your family some coffee. No, we're good. Hey, no, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, I gotta serve you guys at the highest level. I wanna make sure that you have the water or coffee that you need. I wanna make sure that we're handling all these things. Listen, customer service, I gotta make sure we're top-notch handled in this scenario. So I wanna make sure that we're all good, okay? No matter what, I wanna lead them. A lot of salespeople, they're just yes men, they're just getting walked all over. In fact, you got to lead them. You know, I remember the first couple months of my car sales career, I didn't lead my customers. And I remember I was just never getting really good results. And it's because I just was a yes man. I was just letting them, lead. I was just excited to be there, and then I'd end up with no sales. I wasn't a very good leader to them. But in order to be a good leader to them, you got to be a good leader to yourself. I had to start growing, progressing, getting really good at this business, being the expert of this business, having confidence in myself. If I didn't have those things, then I couldn't be a good leader to the customer if I wasn't a good leader to myself. When I started growing, like in personal development and understanding this business, the ins and outs, I could navigate the conversations differently. I could navigate things better. I was young, so I'm dealing with 30-year-old customers, 40-year-old customers, 50-year-old customers, 60-year-old customers. In order to do that, you have to have expertise. You have to come off like the expert. And I didn't want to just come off like the expert. I wanted to be the expert. So I studied every ins and outs of every competition, of the way that they did business, the way that I did business, everything. I was totally obsessed. You're not going to go into a doctor's office and you're going to tell them what to do. A doctor is going to tell you what to do based on what you told them. They're going to say, oh, your arm hurts, here, move your arm around. Oh yeah, I see that. Here, move it up here, move that around. And then they're going to come out and prescribe you what it is. And typically a doctor's not going to get objections like, I don't to my arm. I'll hold off on getting my arm repaired because I'd much rather have the pain. I'd much rather do it my way. Let me just do it my way. No, when the doctor has that expertise and they come off like the expert, you do what that doctor said. If he came off like he didn't know what he was doing, you probably don't do business with that doctor. You go to a different doctor and you go to the doctor that's the expert. And when he's the expert, you do what he says. If anybody ever invites uncertainty, disbelief into a deal, you immediately want to leave. You immediately want to go to somebody else for a second opinion. So when you're the leader of the conversation, and you're the doctor and you're the expert, you don't get a whole lot of objections because people trust in your expertise. So that one's huge. Number 9, the 80-20 rule. Listen, you should be talking 20% of the time and listening 80% of the time. The best listeners are the best closers. The best person that can gather the most information on the customer by asking them the right questions. Hey, listen, where do you live? They're like, oh, I live in this neighborhood. Oh, why did you choose that area? Oh, well, because it's close to work. Oh my gosh, what do you do for work? And that's pretty cool that you thought about it like that. I'm driving an hour away. I've thought about moving closer. So how does that help you? And they're like, oh, well, it helps because I can get more time with my family. Oh my gosh, how many people do you have in your family? 5. I got 5 kids. And conversations just start happening because I'm asking the right questions. Listen, when they're buying a car, I'm like, hey man, where are you going to take this car? Why is it important for you to have a crew cab? Why is that important to you? Why is it important to you to have a long bed? Why is it important to you to have this kind of space? Why is that important to you? You're driving it to work. Oh my gosh, that's important. What's important along that drive is probably the comfortability, right? Oh my gosh, this one's rated that. Bluetooth, right? Okay, tell me a little bit about that. Listen, what kind of podcasts you listen to? What kind of things are you doing in the car? Is all of that important? Yes. What are you going to use the car for? Camping. What kind of camping? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And listen, I'm going to go to Yellowstone with my friends. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to do this and that. Man, we had this cool feature on the Nissan Titan where you couldn't see it, but when you open the bed, you could put fishing poles and lures and all this different stuff. But if I never asked you that question, what type of camping are you going to do? What are you going to do on this camping trip? I could have never showed you this one thing that made that deal almost close because you're like, dang, look at that. Yeah, I could envision putting my fishing poles in here. I could envision this stuff happening. The best closers can paint pictures and tell stories. Number 10, not knowing if there's other decision makers. Early on, you want to say, hey, do you typically buy cars by yourself? Do you typically buy cars with other people? You know, they're going to say, yeah, I typically buy cars with my wife, but my wife doesn't really like to go through this whole process. Oh, that makes sense. So in the last few cars that you bought, has she been a part of it, like really deeply a part of it? Or no? Listen, I skipped that question part of my career, and it tremendously damaged the outcome of the sale. Because listen, if you don't ask that question up front, listen, I could be with a 19-year-old kid, and I could say, hey, you know, do you typically buy cars by yourself? You're young. Have you ever bought a car before? No, this is my time buying a car. My dad wants me to go through this entire process and then figure out what I want, and then they want to help me with the financing. I got that one a lot, but sometimes I'd skip over that, and then they get to the end and then they say, oh, my dad needs to help me buy a car, and I try to handle it like it's an objection, but it would actually be something that we needed to incorporate into the deal. Does that make sense? So what you need to do to be able to handle that and remove that out of the deal is say, oh, okay, perfect. Is your dad local? Yeah, he's local. Perfect. Do you want to take the car over to him so you could actually show him what it feels like in this car? Well, I never thought about it like that. Yeah, because I want to invite the dad into the deal, not have him as an outside third baseman somewhere else. If they're like, yeah, my wife typically buys cars with me, but she couldn't make it because I'm doing this on my lunch break, I'd say, oh my gosh, okay, great. Do you find it beneficial if maybe I took it to her office, you know, later on today, or, you know, maybe we drove it over to her office while me and you were together and then she could see it? Do you know how many times guys would not do that? And they'd be like, hey, Ian, where were you? And I'd be like, drove this car over to this customer's office, drove it over to their house and put it in their garage so that their mom could see it. And they're like, you're so dumb. Dude, I'm closing 5 times the car deals than you. You guys got this baby effort, and so in turn you guys get baby ass checks. If you don't want to have baby checks, then you're gonna have to do big time effort, especially in this market, okay? So think about that. Most salespeople don't know that somebody else is influencing the deal. Ask them up front. Does somebody else help you make these decisions? Is there another person that usually is included in the option? And if there is, then get them involved. All right, number 11 is probably one of the most important ones, and it's belief, it's confidence, it's courage. All of them tie together. There's a lot of salespeople that are walking around, they don't have belief. You see it in their eyes. They don't believe in themselves. They've lost the edge. The market was easy the last couple of years, and now they're having to be salespeople, and they're spun out, and you can tell. You're going to have belief. You're going to have confidence. You're going to have to be that guy. Say, be that guy. Stop waiting to become somebody. You're him. You're her. When you're with these people, give them massive love. Show them who you are. Be the best version of yourself and know that you're the best person for them. Live out loud, man. Really believe in yourself. And how you create more belief is through repetition and confidence. How you create more confidence is believing in your business because you're the expert of your business and you put the time in. Listen, if you've had adversity, or you have adversity right now, it's good for you. If you want big muscles in the gym, what are you gonna have to deal with? A lot of weight. And then you're gonna have to push that freaking weight. And the more weight you push, the bigger you get. Some of you right now, you're dealing with, and we all really are, we're all dealing with personal problems. When you get in this business, when you walk in your store, you're gonna have to put those problems to the side. For this day, for this customer, you're gonna have to show up. You're gonna have to put your game jersey on. You're gonna have to get in that mind frame of, man, this is it. I'm gonna serve this customer at this highest level. I'm gonna have the most fun ever. I'm gonna have confidence in this deal. And you're gonna have to pep talk yourself into going to that next level with these people. If you walk like you're shy, talk like you're shy, you got low confidence, low energy, all of that stuff, you're gonna wonder why sales isn't working out for you. And you're going to think that there's something wrong with you, and you're going to jump job to job. It doesn't have to be like that. You can have confidence right now today. It's a decision. It's a decision to train every day. It's a decision to grow every day. And if you do those things, you're going to get better and better every day. And at the end of it, you're going to be so excited of the career that you have. On the repetition piece, because confidence and belief is repetition, we have a free community that you can join. It's called School. We have a paid community that's $97. So if you're broke, get in the free community. You can learn hundreds of hours of training for free. If you want to invest $97 in yourself, you can get into our community and take, we probably have 50 courses at the time this video is being shot and hundreds of hours of training and you can learn from some really, really good people. We have a bunch of high-level calls. You can get in, you can ask us questions, and we can grow together. It's $97. You can wipe your butt with that. Jump into the community, jump into the coaching, and invest in yourself. You're worth it. Believe in yourself. Have fun in sales. Make sales fun again. Go out there and have a great time.